Thank you for joining with me. We are in A Course in Miracles, Workbook for Students, Part 1 of the workbook, Lesson 197. It can be but my gratitude I earn. Here is the second step we take to free your mind from the belief in outside force pitted against your own. Footnote 429. The first step is the previous lesson. It can be but myself I crucify. You make attempts at kindness and forgiveness, yet you turn them to attack again unless you find external gratitude and lavish thanks. Your gifts must be received with honor, lest they be withdrawn, and so you think God's gifts are loans at best, at worst, deceptions, which would cheat you out of defenses to ensure that when He strikes, He will not fail to kill. How easily are God and guilt confused by those who know not what their thoughts can do. Footnote 430. We combine God with the belief in guilt so that we see God as believing in our guilt when we do not realize the power that our thoughts have to project onto God something that is only in us. Deny your strength, and weakness must become salvation to you. See yourself as bound, and bars become your home. Nor will you leave the prison house or claim your strength until guilt and salvation are not seen as one, and freedom and salvation are perceived as joined, with strength beside them, to be sought and claimed and found and fully recognized. The world must thank you when you offer it release from your illusions, yet your thanks belong to you as well, for its release can only mirror yours. Your gratitude is all your gifts require, that they be lasting offerings of a thankful heart, released from hell forever. Is it this you would undo by taking back your gifts because they were not honored? It is you who honor them and give them fitting thanks, for it is you who have received the gifts. It does not matter if another thinks your gifts unworthy. In his mind there is a part that joins with yours in thanking you. It does not matter if your gifts seem lost and ineffectual. They are received where they are given. In your gratitude are they accepted universally and thankfully acknowledged by the heart of God Himself. And would you take them back when He has gratefully accepted them? God blesses every gift you give to Him, and every gift is given Him because it can be given only to yourself, and what belongs to God must be His own. Yet you will never realize His gifts are sure, eternal, changeless, limitless, forever giving out, extending love, and adding to your never-ending joy, while you forgive but to attack again. Withdraw the gifts you give, and you will think that what is given you has been withdrawn. But learn to let forgiveness take away the sins, and you think you see outside of yourself. And you can never think the gifts of God are lent but for a little while, before He snatches them away again in death. For death will have no meaning for you then, and with the end of this belief is fear forever over. Thank yourself for this, for He is grateful only unto God, and He gives thanks for you unto Himself. To everyone who lives will Christ yet come, for everyone must live and breathe in Him. His being in His Father is secure because their will is one. Footnote 431. Acts 17:28. For in Him, God, we live and move and have our being, as even some of your poets have said, for we are indeed His offspring. In the above allusion, we all live and breathe in Christ, identified in the previous sentence as yourself, which is why He will yet come to everyone. Yet while our being is in Christ, Christ's being is in His Father. Their gratitude to all they have created has no end, for gratitude remains a part of love. Thanks be to you, the Holy Son of God, for as you were created, you contain all things within yourself. And you are still as God created you, nor can you dim the light of your perfection. In your heart and the heart of God is laid. In your heart the heart of God is laid. He holds you dear because you are Himself. All gratitude belongs to you because of what you are. Give thanks as you receive it. Be you free of all ingratitude to anyone who makes your self complete. And from this self is no one left outside. Give thanks for all the countless channels which extend this self. All that you do is giving unto Him, and all that you think can only be His thoughts, sharing with Him the holy thoughts of God. Earn now the gratitude you have denied yourself when you forgot the function God has given you, but never think that He has ever ceased to offer thanks to you. And that is the conclusion of Lesson 197. It can be but my gratitude I earn. For July 16th, the purpose of this lesson is to realize the truth of today's idea, to realize that you don't need visible gratitude from others, that your own gratitude for your gifts is sufficient. So we meditate for 5 to 30 minutes. I will have a separate meditation. There are no specific instructions. The focus on the lesson is on being grateful for the gifts that you give others, especially the gift of forgiveness. Often, says the lesson, you will withdraw your gift of love and forgiveness unless it is received with external gratitude and lavish thanks. When you are tempted to withdraw your love, you should realize that your gratitude is all your gifts require. You have the right to be grateful, for your gifts are given to you. Also, remind yourself that somewhere deep in your brother's mind, he is thanking you, and realize that God Himself has received your gift and thankfully acknowledges it. So instead of taking it back, be grateful to this brother of yours. Be grateful for what he is, for the fact as part of yourself, he makes yourself complete. How do you turn these ideas into a practice period? One possibility is to search your mind for times when you felt that another didn't show enough gratitude to you. With each case, repeat the idea of realizing that your own gratitude is all your gift requires, and that by snatching your gift away, you snatch it away from yourself. Then replace your ingratitude with gratitude toward self and toward your brother for being a part of yourself. Big S. So after spending time practicing gratitude in this way, you may want to spend the remainder of the practice period in silent meditation. And then we remember for 1 or 2 minutes as the hour strikes, or as much time as permits. Search your mind for the happenings of the previous hour that are still burdening your mind. With each one, let it go by repeating the idea. Realize that you can give the situation the gift of love right now, and that the only gratitude you need in return is your own. So whenever you feel incensed because another is not sufficiently grateful to you, repeat the idea, realizing that your gifts were received by you, and that the only gratitude you require is your own. I have a perfect example and situation that occurred to me only yesterday that this is wonderful to apply to. So that comes straight to mind. Perfect timing. This is commentary by Alan Watson. This lesson identifies itself as the second step in freeing our minds from the belief in outside forces pitted against us. Yesterday's lesson was the first step. It taught us that our attacks are always directed at ourselves, and that the attacks we thought were coming from outside of ourselves were really coming from our own minds. In other words, it is impossible that you be heard except by your own thoughts. Today's lesson takes the other side of the coin, gratitude. This is definitely a step beyond yesterday's lesson. We may understand that our attack is coming from ourselves and yet not realize that any gratitude we receive is also coming from ourselves and not from outside forces. I remember attending a workshop of Ken Wapnick's with a friend. When Ken was talking about how to respond to criticism and even outright attack from people who were close to us, Ken's advice was to remember that such attacks are just the other person's ego, reacting to its perception of our ego. Don't take it personally, Ken advised. The next day, my friend went to Ken with a personal issue. He'd begun to lead some groups in healing techniques, and he had received many glowing compliments. He was worried that all the praise or gratitude would go to his head. Ken's advice to him was quite memorable, coming on the heels of the earlier advice about criticism. Don't take it personally. While some of us may have problems with receiving gratitude, we have a much greater problem with not receiving it. Every course student goes through the experience of expressing love, kindness, and forgiveness to someone, only to have it rejected or thrown back into their face. This lesson directly addresses the way we react to such a situation. What we are being asked to do is to express that kindness and love, to give our thanks without any attachment to the response of the other person. All the gratitude required, the lesson says, is our own gratitude for the opportunity of giving and forgiving. Gratitude does not come from outside us any more than attack does. If we fail to understand this, when someone fails to acknowledge our gifts, we will typically react by taking them back. Well, I tried to forgive you and overlook your error, but if this is how you're going to treat me in response, then to hell with you. And quite obviously, our attempts at kindness have turned into attack. The lesson says it quite directly. It does not matter if another thinks your gifts are unworthy. In other words, in our giving, let us be completely unconcerned with the response of the person we are giving to and whether or not they express gratitude. Our giving to them is sufficient gift to ourselves, and our own gratitude for the gift we have given is all that we need. If we take back the gifts we give when they are not received with external gratitude and lavish thanks, then we will always suspect that God's gifts are equally undependable. If we take back our gifts, we are taking them away from ourselves. I am the one who needs to be grateful for the gift I have given, for I am the one who has received it. To help us understand why external gratitude isn't necessary, Jesus explains that there is a part of the other person's mind that is grateful even when that isn't expressed outwardly. The other person's right mind is very grateful to you for the gift and receives it with thanks. The gift will be held waiting until the person is consciously ready to receive it. As the manual puts it, no teacher of God should feel disappointed if he has offered healing and it does not appear to have been received. It is not up to him to judge when his gift should be accepted. Let him be certain it has been received and trust that it will be accepted when it is recognized as a blessing and not a curse. The manual goes on in a way that very clearly echoes the thought we have been discussing. It is not the function of God's teachers to evaluate the outcome of their gifts. It is merely their function to give them. The entire section of the manual and the one that follows might be very interesting reading in light of today's lesson. If we fail to learn this second step, that gratitude as well as attack comes only from within ourselves, we will forever be uncertain about the gifts of God. Thank you so much for joining me for lesson 197. It can be, but my gratitude I earn. Great lesson. I love you. Thank you.